Sugar and spice and everything nice. Sugar will kill you. Spice makes a dull food spice it up, right? Tries to hide the taste of a bad food, right? And the word nice, if you look at the real definition of the word nice up, it means fool. It means foolish. Foolish. A fool. You're nice. They're pretty much calling you a fool. You're nice. Sounds like a compliment, but it's not. The real word means fool. You've been lied to your whole life. You've been lied to your whole life. Everything not what's it? Sugar and spice and everything nice. You've been lied to your whole life. The whole system of the lie. Sorry to wake you up. Sugar will kill you. Spice. Put the spice on the food to make it taste, to cover up the bad taste. And the word nice means fool or ignorant or something like that. So, what am I getting? Why would I start out like that? Reason is, God made man upright, but he sought out many devices to device you. So man is trying to use some kind of application, apron, some fig leaf, eat the apple, the app, to cover his sin or her sin, their sin. God made man upright, but he sought out many devices. When man has to look at his own sin, he doesn't want to. So he has to create these devices to device. He's full of vice. The old flesh mind is nothing but vice. Drugging, drinking, cursing, lying, cheating, smoking, laziness, shrugging responsibility, not dependable, not faithful, running the streets, full of vice. Lying, blame game. God made man upright, but he sought out many devices. It took me a long time to decode that one, but it was right there in the whole time. It was right there the whole time. Man is trying to device himself. Instead of running to God, getting saved, getting a new heart and a new mind, mankind is trying to devise a way to device himself. A vice is like a vice grip. You got this vice, you can't break it. It's got a grip on you. And so you want to device by the energy of the flesh. God made man upright, but he sought out many devices. So you want to grab hold and device in the energy of the flesh. But you can't. You don't have the power to stop. You don't have the power to device yourself. Another one that I decoded today in my mind. So the devices was decoded today, and then how can two walk together except they be in agreement? So agreement is accord, accordance, in accord. How can two walk together except they be in accordance, accord, accorded together in agreement? If they speak not according to this word, there's no light in them. So if they don't agree with the word, they don't so if they speak not according to this word, recording, like accord, AC chord. So now you might say, well, AC you said was the Antichrist system. You said AC is the sine wave, yeah. So when you look at the sine, if you look at the sine wave and you turn it up like that, from horizontal to normal, you see the cross. And so the AC, Jesus became sin for you, became the snake for you. This is why the flesh mind can't even hear what I'm getting ready to say. I told a religious person this concept about 6 years ago who was in church her whole life. She couldn't hear me. AC chord, in accordance, in agreement. AC chord. Chord is chorded back in. How can AC, which stands for the sine wave, the AC up and down sine wave, and it's also the Antichrist system, it's also the snake, how can the AC match up with the word accord? Because it means to be in union, back together. Well, the answer is Jesus was nailed to the pole and became sin for you. He became the snake for you. As Moses lifted up the serpent, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believes in him should not perish. So he took on your sin. He was sin free. He took on your sin. And so the AC chord, he chorded you back in through that sine wave down here. But when you turn it up right, it's the snake on the pole, John 3:14. But it's Jesus taking your sin for you. So how can two be in agreement except, how can two walk together except they be in agreement or accordance? If they speak not according to this word, there's no light in them. So what's the word? That Jesus went to the cross for you, that's the word. If they speak not according to that, they're lost. And as you unfold what happened at the cross, you unfold the whole Bible, you unfold everything. I decoded some other stuff today too, but I ain't gonna talk about it right now, I don't guess. I will say this, I won't go into detail, but when you quantum connect with a person, place, or thing, and you're in quantum connection, and there's a split, there's a rift, it always comes back, or it always tries to come back. Somebody was talking to me, so I had to put it on pause. Check this out. When you quantum connect with anything, and there's separations, there's a tendency for the person, place, or thing to come back because you quantum connected, right? What you touch, what you behold, what you look upon, listen upon, think upon, whatever it is, it tends to come back. Now, you might say, how do you prove that? Well, if you got a car going down the road and the wheel comes off, have you ever noticed like the car goes down the road, the wheel comes off, the car crashes, and then the wheel ends up hitting the car? Because the inertia, the momentum, the quantum connection, the whole. So like when you look at this bottle here, it's one whole unit. There's many parts, so there's a part of it. If you take the label off, that's a part. So there's many parts to make a whole. So when you take something apart, parts missing, why do you have a tendency to put that back on? Why not just leave it over here? Why do you put it back on? Why not just put it here? Why is it when you have a pen, you take that apart, you sit over there? Why don't you have a tendency to put it back together? Why? You didn't make this pen will work fine without that. You could just sit the pen here. But why do you put it back together? Why do you feel the need to put it back together? When there's a rift, when there's a separation, when there's a quantum connection and then there's a separation, there's a pull, there's inertia, there's a momentum, there's a quantum connection. This is why habits are hard to break. If you really want to break something, you have to do a lot of fasting. Some things only come out by prayer and fasting. This is why when you try to manifest or write into the script with your thoughts, usually what comes back is only your past experience. So if you do something from your past, if you think in your past and you edit the hologram, then it's going to be a combination of stuff from your past because it's like a dream. So you go about your day, right? And you had a lot of stuff happen. And you have a dream when you go to sleep. And what shows up in the dream? The stuff that happened today. All the stuff that happened today. So this out here is like a hologram. And what you think upon appears. And how does it appear? It has to appear with things that you know from your past. So if you write into the script, certain kinds of people, certain kinds of situations that you've seen before, that you're familiar with, will come back into your script. The names, the people, the personalities, the characters, it all appears because that's all you know. Just like your dream, it only gives you back what you experienced while you're awake and you go to sleep. So this is a death cult. This is 3D. This is temporary. It's all going to burn up. It's a simulation. So if you simulate something in your mind, which is 5D, and it appears here, it can only be based on the simulation you did in the 5D. And you might say, well, can you explain it in a different way? Okay, so there was this episode in the series, this series called Orville, the last season 3, the last part of that season. So this man had found this phone from a time capsule, and he put all the data of this woman's life in the simulation. And he ran the simulation, and the computer made a simulated reality with her in it. So he walked into the holodeck, and he played out the simulation. A few episodes later, the ship gets thrown back in time. He ends up marrying that woman that he had in his phone. He looked her up, found her, he ended up marrying that woman. Back in time. He was thrown back to that time. So you're going about your day, you go to sleep, you're reviewing your day in the dream, you're looking back in the dream, the door, AM. So the dream is the door to look back, to redo the AM. So your dream is the door to look back at what you did during the day. So when you have a dream, the American dream or whatever, the dream for the future, you can only dream stuff that you've experienced or known or thought about. And if you haven't had that experience, how can you dream it? So when you use your mind, which is the day, and this is the night, in a type and shadow, even though I'm saying from your mind is spirit, 3D is going back to the grave, it's all burning up. So this is the dark side, but use the light. And so your daily activity is just a reflection of your thoughts and your dreams based on all that you know. You can only dream you can only think. You can't think outside of your little box, you know. Now, when you expand your mind and you listen or watch other people or talk to other people, or you step out into a new territory, a new frontier, then your dream becomes expanded. That a dream can expand. I don't know how to say it better than that right now. I wasn't even going to talk about that. So I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, device and something else. Oh, a chord. Device and a chord. So when you quantum connect with something, a place, a person, and they show back up, there's a reason. If it's a good thing, that's fine. If it's a bad thing, that's not fine. But they will show back up. And if they don't show up, you'll show up in their world. Because it's just part of the holographic dream, reflection, quantum connection. It's all, you can't escape it. Now, if they die, or if a situation gets bulldozed down, or a place changes, something similar, that same spirit will show back up. That same spirit. Or somebody with that same name, it'll show back up.